Morning, everybody. I'm Toby Schwartz with the Bay St. Louis Police Department. Currently, we're mourning the loss of our two officers who were tragically killed on the line of duty yesterday on December 14th. I'm not here to discuss the details of yesterday's tragedy. Today I'm going to take this time to talk about the lives of two heroes that sacrificed their lives for the good of society and our community. Sergeant Stephen Robb. He was employed with our department since 2019, and he began his law enforcement career in 2010. He also worked for the Hancock County Sheriff's Office and the Waveland Police Department. He was a 12-year veteran of law enforcement, and Stephen promoted through the ranks to become a sergeant, and he was a supervisor with the Bay St. Louis Police Department, and he took his role in mentoring others quite seriously. He knew it was his job to make great cops out of young rookies. And he truly embraced his place as their role model in the profession. Stephen did his job as a supervisor extremely well. He provided so much more to those entering the profession. He provided the love, support, and encouragement they needed to do their jobs. Maybe sometimes Stephen would be in there with a stoned face look or a funny smirk during one of his debriefings. But always it was with the best intentions for his officers and for our department. He wanted to develop a stronger and safer place for our officers and the community of Bay St. Louis. In fact, when these things happen, we go looking for photographs of our fallen officers. And indeed, we found one as a Christmas picture for our Christmas tree at our department. And it was with Stephen and of Brandon. And again, on that photo, he had this stone face smirk that was ever so present and apparent on his face. Officer Brandon Sdorf began his career with our department in July of 2021 and pridefully followed in his father's footsteps as a civil servant in law enforcement. Although he is new to the profession, Brandon grew up surrounded by tons of other police officers, all of whom would watch out for him, keep him on the straight and narrow, and love him like their own. He was an exceptional cadet who was truly going places in law enforcement and in our police department. He had maturity, politeness, and a professionalism about him that not many 23-year-olds have. He worked hard to do his best each and every day, knowing that he made his father and every inherited police father and mother and his mother extremely proud. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his smile. Brandon was always smiling, always. We remember that smile. He would catch your attention no matter what the circumstances. And Brandon's sense of humor always led to a good story, always to a good personal story or a good cop story. Although he inherently had the mouth of a sailor, likely from all those law enforcement parents I mentioned earlier, he could lighten anyone's load with his wit and with his charm. Both Brandon and Stephen were trusted colleagues and outstanding officers whose passion was to help others and provide public service. That was evident leading up to their final sacrifice during yesterday's tragedy. And while their sacrifice brings their death to the forefront of our attention, we must never forget these men, these officers. They were sons, they were grandsons, they were brothers. Stephen was a husband, a father, a grandparent, and to all of us, they were friends of ours. Law enforcement officers have a tough job every day. As evidence with what happened to our officers, to Stephen and Brandon. They would want you to know that their lives were not lost in vain. They loved coming to work and being officers, putting on the uniform, and going out there every day to serve you, serve our citizens. This is real tough for the law enforcement community, and I'm not taking anything away from Stephen's family or Brandon's. It's extremely difficult for them, but they're our family too, and it's difficult for us. And when we as law enforcement lose our brothers and sisters, it hurts. It hurts bad. It hurts across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It hurts. Every department feels it. I ask that everyone remain supportive for their families, of our fellow police officers of Bay St. Louis, our neighboring officers. Everybody's hurting right now. The county suffered loss of one of their own recently. We're suffering. We suffered with them. We're suffering now. But we are going to go forward, and we want to honor these brave men who sacrificed their lives. I do want to express my gratitude and our department's gratitude to our partners here in law enforcement and the ones that aren't here right now. Sheriff Ricky Adam, and the Hancock County Sheriff's Office, and the Wayville Police Department have been with us every step of the way. They came to our immediate aid yesterday morning. We were out there at 4 a.m., and they were out there with us. That's truly appreciated. It is truly appreciated. I want to thank the Department of Public Safety and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, who have been conducting a thorough investigation into this tragic incident. Our agency is assisting in every way possible to support the investigation supported by MBI. And their agency has released all pertinent and relevant details. I would defer any questions specifically related to the incident to their agency. In closing, we would ask for your prayer and support in this time of need. Pray for Stephen. Pray for Brandon. Pray for the members of the Bay St. Louis Police Department and the officers that worked alongside of them and throughout the county. Pray for our entire profession, every law enforcement officer has yesterday's events in their mind. And we are going to push and move forward, and we're going to honor these brave men. And we're not going to give up what we do for you, the public. We're still going to protect and serve as they did. Pray for them, pray for the families. Pray for peace and comfort for those of us still walking this earth. Although we know that our brothers, Stephen and Brandon, will be watching over us and protecting us, it doesn't take away any less from the pain we feel. And finally, we ask that you pray for the children and the family of the assailant. They too are victims. They too will need the love and the support of their community. The only way for us to survive this is with a tremendous amount of support and love for one another. I'll take a few brief questions.
Any idea when services might be available?
We're working on that right now with the families. We're going to respect their wishes and concern to the services. We will have a lot of that very soon. As soon as we have that, we will put it out for everyone as soon as possible. But it is currently in the works. We're just respecting their wishes and honoring their requests, and we have some follow-up meetings with the families.
When you have a mind that, not right now, if we can get ideas of everybody.
Sure.
Chief, I know this is very hard for you guys. We appreciate you all working with PD and tell us about these two officers that serve your community. Can you tell us how big the department is? It's a very small, tight-knit community, so losing two officers, sure, losing any officer is hard. Losing two especially is very hard. So how big is the department?
We're a small coastal department, roughly 30 personnel. Shifts are small. With that 30 personnel, not everybody is an officer patrol. So it's based on shifts and officers. The whole law enforcement profession is always in need of more officers. We are no exception to that, and especially now. And that's why it's been so important and appreciated by Hancock County Sheriff's Office, by Wayville Police Department, by our outside police departments offering manpower during this time to assist us. Currently, we've asked our officers that'd like to stay home, And so these departments, our partners, are coming in to fill that void. So I want to reassure the community we do have active patrol by assisting agencies. We are responding to calls. You may not see a Bay St. Louis officer in uniform respond to that call, but law enforcement collectively will be responding to those calls for the community at this time.
Spent a lot of time yesterday in the downtown area and have got a real sense of how close of a tie that you have with the community. Spending a lot of time in speaking with business owners and residents, how important is that connection with the community during this time?
Oh, it's essential. This community's great. Same reason Stephen and Brandon came to this community. Brandon grew up here in the community of the Bay. Stephen's from here. And because of the community, that's why there are officers with us. It is essential that we all be together. And it's unique on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. One of the most wonderful things out here is the support of the citizens in the community for law enforcement, for military, for first responders. The community's been very supportive. Thank you.
Have there been any accounts set up for the family of the fallen officers?
That is being worked on. We will make that available as that is fully established. But we are working on that. The city is working on that. We are working collectively together.
Chief, I noticed that some people have put up blue ribbons in different areas. Is there anything that y'all would like to request the community to do to show the support for y'all during the days in which we're doing?
We just ask for continued prayers, support. It's always appreciated when the officers here, when you see them out, regardless if it's Bay St. Louis Police Department or our partners. Thank you for the job you do. That means a lot to the officers when they hear that. It goes a long ways. They hear a lot of negativity in their jobs. So it's nice and refreshing when the community just says thank you, lets them know, hey, they are appreciated. Law enforcement in general appreciated.
I apologize because I'm not sure. Has Bay St. Louis lost an officer before in the line of duty? Or I don't recall.
I'm unaware of that happening here. Obviously, Hancock County recently, and neighboring agencies, Biloxi. And just so you know, this, as in Hancock County, Biloxi PD, and our partners in law enforcement, every time this happens, it's a reminder to them and their fallen brothers. So again, thank an officer when you see them. They appreciate your support, always.
Is the department receiving a lot of support from outside agencies all over the country?
Yes. Throughout Mississippi, from our capital, the state, outside of the state, there's been a lot of outreach. It continues. A lot of things are coming in, and it is most appreciated because we do the same thing for them when these things happen, unfortunately. Thank you for your time. And if anybody, just want to say thank you. Okay.
Thank you.